Hey there everyone, this is Cathy Judd. If you're joining me, this is the fourth card in my 2012 Halloween card making series. And I kind of wanted to tell you what I was thinking about when I made this card. Last year I saw a Halloween comic strip, and in the comic strip there was this witch sitting there in a chair and she's picking at her toes, and in between her toes is candy corn, and the caption read, "Where candy corn really comes from." And it just kind of stuck with me, and so I thought, here we go, beware of candy corn. So that's where this card came from. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to widen my shot just a little bit, maybe not that much, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I went ahead and started with a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, which is a note card size or A2 card size card. Go ahead and fold that and set that to the side. And I have 3 layers right away that are going to happen. First is a piece of orange cardstock, and this is actually like pumpkin pie. It's a Stampin' Up! Paper, and it measures 5 5/8 by 4 1/8. And then I have a black piece that's going to go on top, which measures 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm also going to grab this little Tim Holtz distressing paper tool, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge of this just to kind of rough up this paper just a little bit so it's not quite so perfect. I kind of like that rough curled look, and it's a little bit more accurate than trying to tear your paper. So if you've never tried this tool, something to consider. Okay, so once I've done that, we can go ahead and put these 2 layers together. Grab my ATG gun. Actually, you'll notice on my main card, I forgot to put on my orange layer, but that's okay. I wanted to pull the orange in just a little bit more. And so I'm going to add these 2 together. There we go. And then this next layer, I just took a piece of stamping paper and went ahead and stamped with Versamark. So I took this big, huge stamp. This one is by Stampendous. It's called Autumn Words. Super, super cute. I just love it because it'll work for Halloween, and then again it'll work, you know, just in November for fall. And so I went ahead and flipped that over and I inked it up with some Versamark. And this is what the Versamark looks like. It's a water stamp pad, and it's really sticky. And so you'll just go right across, ink up your stamp. And then after, when you stamp such a big stamp, it's actually easier if you just lay your paper on top of it and then rub with your fingers. And this will give you the most accurate stamp, and then you'll just lift straight up. And once you've done that, then you can apply your embossing powder, tap that off, flick it off. And for mine, I did not use an embossing buddy, which basically cleans off my cardstock before I do all of this work, because I kind of wanted some little splotches and some little mistakes, because I think it looks cuter like it was ran through an old-fashioned printer. Anyhow, so after I put my embossing powder on, then I used my heat tool to heat it, and then you get this really cute shiny, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's super, super cute. Anyhow, so once you have that piece, this actually measures, what does it measure? I think it's 5 by 3 3/4. I'll double check, but I believe that's the measurement. And we can go ahead and add that layer on. Oops. Okay, and once that's down, I thought that I would add some ribbon. And so I just grabbed this May Arts 2-tone ribbon, and it doesn't come on this little doll pin. I actually saw another card making channel that she puts hers on these little spools, which I already put my baker's twine on it, but hadn't thought of putting my May Arts ribbon on there, which is actually pretty brilliant because after a while it starts to curl and it's super cute. So I'm just going to cut a little piece. Grab my scissors here. And to attach this, I'm just going to grab some tape. I'll go ahead and figure about where we want it. Using the tape is always a good idea when you use an ATG gun, because then the ATG gun just kind of slides right over that ribbon. Whereas sometimes if you don't do that, it can get stuck on the ribbon, which is pretty frustrating, especially with this kind of ribbon because it actually frays really easily, this two-tone. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this on camera, but it has kind of a yellow in with the orange, so it's really, really cute. So now that we've got to this point, we can go ahead and attach it onto our card base as nothing else is going to go underneath it. I don't know if you can hear, but I'm actually standing up to get a better eye view. When you're working with just 1/8 of an inch for your borders, it's a lot easier to see. Okay, so now that we've got that piece down, I'm going to tell you where I got my candy corn piece from. Let me grab that. And this is what it looks like. And what I did was I took this cartridge. It's a Cricut cartridge called Doodle Charms. Now, if you don't happen to have a Cricut a Cricut or a Silhouette, or when you're going just on your own, another thing you can do is just cut out a triangle, stack your 3 colors of cardstock. So if I'm using the Pumpkin Pie and the Daffodil Delight and the white, or your orange, yellow, and white, you'll stack them together, cut out a triangle, and then punch the corners with a corner punch, and that'll also give you a candy corn piece. So what I did though was went to page 122, and there's a candy corn up here in the corner. And if you don't have a gypsy, the easiest way to do this is just to enlarge this whole image up to 10.5 inches. And then when you do that, this piece is up in the top right corner. So basically you can take 3 4-inch pieces one at a time, and you can cut out just the candy corn. Once it cuts out the candy corn, hit pause on your Cricut Expression 2, eject your paper and pull off your piece, and just repeat the process 2 more times until you've got all 3 pieces. And if you look here, I don't know how close this will let me look, but there's some little lines in here, and that'll guide you as to where to cut your yellow and orange piece so that it'll all line up. Actually, if I flip it over, you might be able to see those little cut marks right there. It'll help you know how to line up your piece. So once you've got this piece, the next thing that I did was grab some orange. This is called Tangelo. It's a Memento ink. And I grabbed a little finger dauber, put some ink on it, and just went ahead and went around the outside of my little candy corn, just like this, just giving it a little more definition so it's not just hanging out on my page all alone. Okay. And then once we've done that, I thought that he looked a little boring. So before, actually, I'm going to grab my little distress tool again and just go around my little shadow. And there is no shadow on that cartridge, so all I did was lay this down onto a piece of black paper. I traced it, and then when I cut it out, I left a border. So it's not 100% perfect, but hey, it still gave me a shadow. So whatever you have to do to make it work. I personally do not have a gypsy. I do have Cricut Craft Room, and you know, sometimes I mess with that, but you know, I kind of just use what I have and make things work for me. Okay. So then before I attach this, I actually wanted to put a cute little face. So if you look at this little guy, he's got a fun little face. And where I got the face from was this Peachy Keen stamp pack. And this is called Everyday Character Face Assortment. And I went to the 1-inch stamp down here with the cute little smiley face and little eyelashes. And I'll show you how I stamped here. So I'm just going to grab an acrylic block where I put her little picture on. And where is my stamp pad? I'm actually going to use a VersaFine Onyx, black Onyx ink. This is a little bit of a darker ink compared to like the Memento ink, for example. So we'll ink her up good. And go ahead and center her. And there we go, cute little face. And then to help her stand out just a little bit more, there's 2 things I want to do. First, I'm going to grab my little gel pen here. It's just a white gel pen, and I'm going to warm up the tip on my finger just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the whites of the eye. Also the little part in the center and the little accent, which really helps our little eyes to just jump right out. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but let's bring her up closer. So cute. And then when I'm finished, we'll do some cheeks, but not until we get her onto our card base. So now that we've got this part done, we can go ahead and attach it onto our shadow. Grab my ATG gun to do that. And then I'll show you how we did the spider. This video is going to be a hair long today, as there are a couple of different techniques that I wanted to show you. And that's kind of the point, is to learn something new or try something new or to look at it in a different way. And that's what I hope you get when you watch my videos, is that it's not the same old thing every single time. So that's going to go roughly about there. I'm not going to sticker yet. So my spider, this is my completed one. If you look at her, I'm not sure how well it's going to pick up, but she's a little bit shiny. And so to show you how I did that, let me grab my little stamp and an acrylic block. And this stamp is coming from this Penny Black Best Witches stamp, which I used in a previous card. I used this Great Witch. Isn't she just wonderful? Anyhow, that's the pack that I used. I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock. This happens to be Whisper White, made by Stampin' Up, which is great for stamping. And we're going to ink up our little spider and stamper. And there she is. And so to get her to this point, I used some glossy accents, and I'm looking for my silver stickles. Glossy accents, and let me double check. Yeah, it does just say silver. So all I did was take my glossy accents, and I used the glossy accents on the black stripes on the spider, by her head, and up at the tip by the web. And then I grabbed the silver. I always test my stickles to make sure that it's coming out right and not in a big clump. And then I outlined the white part on the spider. And then I went ahead and did all the lines that come towards the center. And I just let this dry overnight and then cut her out. And when she's completely dry, you end up with this cute little piece right here. I'll go ahead and set that aside. So this is going to go up in the corner here. So at this point, let's go ahead and tie on our bow and figure about 1 foot of ribbon. I'm going to come over here and measure out 12 inches. I am guessing. About 1 foot is what you'll need to make your bow. Actually, I think I grabbed a hair too much. I've covered up my mat with my brown paper here. I don't want to drive you crazy with the stripes on the paper, but so then you'll go ahead and tie your bow. It's actually, this is a good length though if you're going to do more of a tail, which I'm actually not on this one. Okay. Not quite that big. Okay. I don't want her too big because I don't want her to cover up my little candy corn here, so hopefully I did okay. There we go. Cute little bow. You know, roughly she's going to go right there and roughly here. Now before we actually attach these two pieces down, I want to do this fun little fence. Now to do the fence, let's slide some things out of the way for just a moment. I have a piece of black cardstock that measures 4.5 by 2 5/8. To do this, you're going to want a scoring tool. Sorry, I'm knocking things off my desk. Whatever scoring tool you have will work just fine, or you could certainly use your paper trimmer. Hopefully I'm in the screen here. So I'm just going to mark every 1/2 inch. Nothing fancy. Very, very simple. Oops, don't push too hard or you'll cut your paper. Okay, so once we have our lines, we can set that aside. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of scratch cardstock here, lay this down, and grab my archival Moonlight White. I can't live without the stamp pad. It's absolutely one of my favorites. And then I'm just going to direct to paper, straight across here. Not going for perfection, just straight. And doing this is going to give us kind of an old looking, nighttime looking fence. Okay, so once you've got your old looking fence, Next thing I did was grab a paper punch. Let me close up my ink here. And I just used the Arch Lattice Martha Stewart punch. Fun little trick with this is make sure that you try and kind of guesstimate where the center is so that your punch ends up, your design ends up lined up even on both sides. There we go. So that is how I got the fence piece. Let's go ahead and pull the rest of our card pieces back inside. And before we attach this piece, I have actually one other little piece here that I wanted to show you how I came up with. So basically to do this, I wanted it to say beware, and I didn't have a stamp that said beware. So make sure that you always kind of have some kind of letters. I like the stamp letters. This one's the Hero Arts stamp pack. And this one I picked up at Michael's. In fact, I think they still sell them there. I thought I saw them the other day. And then I just used an acrylic block to put my letters onto, and I had to remove the E and stamp that separately because there was 2 E's and I only had 1. So I stamped that onto a piece of pumpkin colored cardstock, and then I went ahead and used this EK Success ticket punch to get the ticket shape. And once I did that, I also went ahead and punched a hole on either side because I want to add some brads, which I'll do in just a moment. I'm going to take a little bit more of that archival ink, the white, Moonlight White, and I'm going to put some around this. Just kind of want to have this orange really stand out. So we'll just go ahead and ink around it. Sorry this video is long today. Hopefully you'll have fun with all the little tips I'm showing you though. Okay, so once you've done that, then I wrapped it around my finger, and I'm kind of wrinkling it up just a little bit. I don't want it to be perfect, just kind of want it to be a little bit old looking. And then we can go ahead and stick our brads on. And I just grabbed 2 black ones from my stash. No idea where I got them from. We'll stick those in. Stick in the other one. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and stick a couple of pop dots on the back of this. And now we can put the rest of our card together. Let's double check that we measured correctly. Oh, I remember. We need to cut off just a little bit off of each end. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off 1/8 of an inch so that our paper will fit. Flip that over to make it easy on me. Okay. So 1/8 of an inch trimmed off of each side. Should help our little fence to fit perfectly, which it does, yay! So let's put this puppy together. Okay. So again, if I have this right about here, I want that fence to cover up a little bit of my candy corn. Okay, so let's go ahead and stick her on, and I'm just going to use ATG gun to stick this on. Right about there. I have a little pop dot or 2 stuck on the back of my spider and spider web. So we'll go ahead and line up in the black part so it kind of looks like the spider web is coming off of the black piece. Like that. There's our spider. And we'll go ahead and attach our fence. I love how this card turned out. Just so much fun. I mean, who would have thought that you need to beware candy corn? Well, it's not very flattering probably to the hips, but I'll admit I like a handful now and then. Okay, there's our cute little fence. And let's stick our little beware on, and then one more final step, and this card will be done. We'll kind of center her. And then the last thing I did was I grabbed some pink stickles, and this is called Cotton Candy. And I went ahead and gave her some cheeks. 2 cute little dabfuls. So cute. Love how this card turned out. Very fun and a lot of fun techniques. So I'll go ahead and pull back in my dried original one here, so you can see it one more time. Anyhow, so thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I hope you'll leave a comment or a post. And I hope you have a great Halloween. Thanks for watching. Bye.